True Story Tuesday. How Stella got her groove back. The true story of best-selling author Terry McMillan and her ex-husband Johnathan Plummer. I'm so excited because I never knew how Stella got her groove back was an actual true story. Very intriguing, and it is even more intriguing to find out the real details behind the situation. So y'all know, let's begin. So in 1995, when Terry McMillan took a trip to Jamaica, she met this little hot young toddy that was 23 years her senior, meaning she was 43 and the guy was only 20. This guy's name here is Johnathan Plummer, her ex-husband. Now, Terry and Jonathan, hey, they hit it off real well, so well that after Terry returned back to California, she sent for Jonathan within 3 months, okay, of returning back. She sent for Jonathan to come live in her little $1 million mansion out there in the Cali. Y'all, Jonathan was slinging that thing. Okay, let's continue. Now, throughout the marriage, y'all, Terry said she had no idea that Jonathan was a different person. Now, when I mean a different person, it came out that Jonathan exposed to her after 6 years of marriage that he was gay. Yes, honey, Jonathan was gay. Now, this is what inspired how Stella got her groove back because actually, after discovering this on Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, in 2000 and what it was, 4, Terry just was like, she had lost herself. She just was a whole different person. And Terry wanted vengeance, y'all. Do y'all hear me? She wanted some straight vengeance. It got really ugly with the divorce. But just to get back to a little bit of the story, she said she really didn't notice because Jonathan was always there. He was always caressing. He never missed a beat. He never missed anything around her. She said she couldn't miss the sign. Baby, that G-Dar must wasn't working like that back in the day because, some women knew it. What y'all think? A little part of me feel like Terry just had kind of feel hell over heels. She was getting them good jugs. All right, y'all. All right. Now, Terry had got Jonathan on with this dog grooming business, and he was spending a lot of long hours away from home. So much so to where it just seemed like Jonathan wasn't kind of like interacting with her like he used to. But Terry said she just actually passed over this because she just thought her husband was a hard working, busy man. Until eventually, Terry said she started noticing long hours of phone calls back to Jamaica, how he was spending long hours on the phone talking to friends and a guy, actually a friend guy from Jamaica. Now, all hell broke loose, like I said, around by Christmas time of, I'm thinking 2004, to where the situation spiral where Terry was led to put Jonathan out of the home after he revealed to her that he was gay. Y'all, that was a mouthful, and I understand her hurt and her frustration. But again, I digress. Now, Jonathan, on the other hand, said that, he just got tired of living a lie. He wanted to be who he really was. And he felt like Terry kind of like overreacted to the whole situation. Now, Terry, she became vengeful, y'all. Terry became vengeful behind this. I mean, she was using the F-bomb. She was harassing him. It was like she was making little jujus with F-bomb harassments, all the little F-bomb words. And you know what I mean. I don't want to say that word. It's ugly. And, just references to him being gay and the DL hidden lifestyle. I just know Terry was more hurt on these vengeance that she was going after. Now, again, I told y'all the divorce got so messy. It was very messy to where Terry put in a $40 million lawsuit just for what it was, like false identity or something like that. Like he withheld from her that he was actually secretly gay and he only used her to get here to become a legal citizen of the United States. Terry also said that Jonathan only came out with the fact that he was gay after he realized that he was approved to legally be here in the United States. So again, I tell you, I understand the frustration. Homegirl went mad because she was already making it and doing it. And, she really didn't need a man. She just kind of fell in love because she wanted that traditional love, mutual support. Terry even said she felt like the whole thing was just a plot for Jonathan to come over here, become legal, and successfully, use someone for a come up, blow up, she will. Now, Jonathan said he was only 20 years old when he met Terry, and he didn't know nothing about how famous she was and all that, but I think Jonathan did learn something along the way. Yeah, we talking about a Jamaican, y'all. We ain't even finna get up into the natural roots and folklores of The who, woo, do, voo, do. Now, y'all, Terry was doing everything in her power to get Jonathan as deported. She wanted him deported. She wanted him broke. She wanted him suffering. She wanted him embarrassed. And it was all because of the pain she felt like she had to endure. Terry said she was publicly humiliated, and she felt like Jonathan had to pay. And like I said, with that $40 million lawsuit, she eventually dropped it because she did get approved, like to win it, but she dropped it, and I guess maybe she felt some type of remorse. Now, on the other hand, Jonathan ended up suing her for because they had signed a prenup in the beginning. They got married. Let me spin it back, okay? They got married in 1998. 3 years after meeting and being together, they became married. And during the marriage, they signed a prenup. And the prenup was that Jonathan would not be able to get any type of royalties or monies or investments off of Terry earnings that she already required while meeting him, or anything that she was further, gaining from being with him. Now, like Jonathan over here, Jonathan felt like he had to have some because Jonathan said he was like highly dependent upon Terry, and everything that he really had came from Terry. So he felt like he needed something. So he did put in like a counter lawsuit to where he was getting $2,500 a month in alimony, and while they was going through the proceedings of the divorce, she was having to pay his legal fees. I guess you have to get it how you can, Jonathan. So by October of 2005, Terry and Jonathan were divorced, leaving him separated and kind of struggling. His attorneys were saying that Jonathan never had any ill intent to use Terry. Terry said she felt like after what she discovered about him and his revelation, that she felt like that was his whole plan, implied his ill intent to come in and use her and to become a legal citizen while he lived his double life, which made her humiliated. Again, how Stella got her groove back inspired her to write this true story of her own life. Like I said, after living with a life of someone on a DL, a double identity, feeling like she was used, betrayed, and all of that stuff, it allowed her to understand the levels of her success and how she had to pour into herself. I tell a lot of my people, because I have clients that are successful people. A lot of my clients are successful. And a lot of times, just because you have that certain success does not mean that you have that certain love for yourself. And a lot of times we try to find that certain love for ourselves from others, and we put the pain on them and say they hurt us and they did us, when really we was not really loving ourselves enough to understand why we was accepting such mediocre situation. This was a good inspirational movie. It took a lot of courage for her to write this movie about her. She is a great best author, from Waiting to Exhale to this with her own story. So y'all, with Waiting to Exhale, I think she probably even got some tea time on some of her own friends. She probably just didn't even want to expose them like that. But this, now that I realize what's going on, yeah, Terry, you are good. And this was a great movie. So what y'all think? Let me know.